Good morning. Welcome to Woods and Wanderings, and trust that you're having a good day today. Just thought we have about 3 or 4 days before our trout season opens, and I thought we would look at some of the preparations we make for trout season, look at some of the equipment that we have available to us. Here we have a couple of the regular poles and reels that we might use for bass fishing, pan fishing, whatever, but they're also very good for trout fishing. A open face spinning reel. This is a Berkeley rod with a Shakespeare reel on it. Very good for trout fishing, especially in our waters. And also we have here a South Bend rod with a 33 Zebco reel on it, close-faced, and both are used quite well for bass or for trout in our waters. However, I'm going to show you some of the other ones that we use, or I use anyway. A lot of people don't care for the ultralight rods and reels that we have available today, but these are all the ultralights that, not all of them, but the ones that I have that can be used for trout. Here is a Shakespeare combo, the 4.5 foot rod, one-piece rod. This one is a Daiwa. This one is a pack rod, 5 foot. It comes apart into very manageable sections. You can put into a pack and carry the whole thing very easily back into the backcountry. And one that I have had for probably 35, 40 years now, that I have used extensively for trout and for bass as well. Very effective. I've caught some nice sized bass on it. I wouldn't say anything huge. I know I've caught some up to about 3 pounds on this ultralight, and it handles them quite well. The other one is a 5.5 foot rod. It's a Rhino Zebco combination rod and reel. As you can see here, this is an RL3 reel. If I take this Zebco 33, put them side by side, you see the difference. Zebco is not 33 is not considered a very big reel, large capacity or anything, but certainly a lot larger than the ultralight that they produce in this particular reel here. Fits right inside the handle of the 33. Give you an idea of the size that we're talking about. Our waters are small creeks, small rivers. Creek, some places you can almost step across the creek in a step or two. The rivers you might be able to find one that's 35 yards across, and they're considered to be small rivers, small creeks that we usually fish. But even if you go into the back country and use these in the ponds, very good for that use as well. If you like this kind of content, I'd ask you to like the video and subscribe to our channel, and share it with others so that we can share these things with other people, other fishermen as well. Now, some of the lures that we have available for our trout fishing come in a lot of different configurations, I guess you would say. We have a lot of course, trout are traditionally sought after by a lot of fly fishermen, and so for fly fishermen there are dry flies such as these Adams Irresistibles, and maybe something like an artificial spider that is used. They have a number of either woolly worms such as this, which represent some type of a aquatic animal, or you have others like artificial grasshoppers, crickets, crawfish, many crawfish in our brooks and our creeks and rivers. They are quite effective for both bass and for trout. But many of our fishermen use bait, and so bait, snell bait hook, such as these number 6s with a snell leader on them, are very good. I wouldn't go much bigger than the number 4s for most of our trout around here. And with that is some kind of a trout float or a marker, indicator, bite indicator, something, whatever you want to call it, to use. These are easy trout floats and attached to your line. Trout can bite very aggressively, and you have no question whatsoever in your mind that they have struck, or they can bite very subtly, and just a little twitch of the line is all that you see when they hit the lure. But others also use a lot of spoons, small spoons in a small scale, like the red and white daredevils and the other kinds of spoons. There's just a couple of them there. Also, they have some very popular ones that many people use in our area. Is these little phoebes. They're little goldfish, called goldfish, whatever, in some other places, and they have a very distinct bend to them. As you can see here, they bend quite a bit to give quite a bit of action to the lure, and they're quite successful for trout. Some of them are painted kind of like a trout or a perch or something like that, but that's not necessary. A simple gold one like that would do just as well. Others are more into spinners, different sizes, and they're blue fox, net spinners, and then you have, as I said, different size ones that might be smaller, and they can be quite most effective, especially in deep water of the early season. And even bait fishermen will sometimes have a spinner of some sort that they attach their lure or their bait to, the line to, and attach this to the line of their pole. And this is heavy enough it will get down most waters without too many added weights to it. As far as terminal tackle goes, it's like any other fishing. There's swivels and snap swivels that keep your line worked up. For trout in our area, we're looking at maybe at the best maybe a 1 pound or 2 pound trout, and so something along the lines of this size as compared to something that size is probably more in order. Don't need a big heavy one for that. I trust you enjoy the video, and I hope that you come back and see some more of the videos, as we are getting into the open water type of fishing now instead of ice fishing, and we will be having more and more bass fishing, pan fishing, pike fishing, hopefully walleye, whatever we can find at the time, and trout fishing will begin here in the next week or so for most of us. Our trout seasons have been extended in New York. You can now fish trout basically year-round. It's October to March is basically artificial lures only and catch and release. You have to put everything back, except in certain posted waters. But there are traditional trout season starts April 1st with a creel limit, and you have to look at the regulations very closely. Those are changing too at this time to see what the limit, the creel limit might be for particular water you are fishing at this moment. This is a change for New York State because we never had. You were not to fish for trout even in the even if you caught and released them. You were not to harass trout during the October to March series, except for certain lakes that allowed trout fishing, but for salmon or lake trout through the ice. And so it's something that's a little different in the last 2 years that we have been experiencing at this time. Thanks for watching, and thanks for stopping by at this hour.